Now, today during the newspaper session on the morning show that I co-host on, we talked about some of the harmful pesticides and insecticides that continue to be imported to our country, despite having an active, chemicals and poisons board that's run by the government, of course. So the standard has the splash on the standard is partisan IEBC. It's actually giving, as you can see right there, there's a photo of IEBC chair Erastus Ithekon. Rigathi Gachagua is accusing him of wanting to tamper with this ongoing by-election as well as 2027 and what they're projecting. But the Daily Nation says, the splash on the Daily Nation says, the poison in our food. And this is the description. It says, European Union continues to export pesticides banned within its own borders to African nations, with Kenya being the destination of more than 400 tons of the deadly cancer-causing chemicals. A report by a Swiss-based organization reveals the stories on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation newspaper. And then if you manage to get hold of it or just check a digital copy of it as well, it talks about banned chemicals and then withdrawn from the Kenyan market. And I can see chlordane is an insecticide. It was banned. And then acefat, an insecticide that was banned as well, the chemical. Andrine parisidial, and then on inputs you have up to 473,924. Now here's the gag. An investigative report reveals that Swiss food giant Nestle is accused of adding sugar to baby cereals in Africa, and this is why they're warning you of some of these baby formulas that you guys are using. It says, quote unquote, a public investigation reveals that most cereal products in Africa contain added sugar, contrary to the World Health Organization guidelines. This tells you that they're using you as guinea pigs. And for the longest time, Africa has always been a dumping ground to some of this big tech, big pharma, all this, super fast world, let's say, manufacturing companies. They always target Africa in terms of, we want to test, launch, and pilot a drug, a gadget, a tech gadget, and see how it works. Where else do they do their first prototype experiment? Of course, they come right here in Kenya. And that's why Bill Gates, there's been a lot of backlash on Bill Gates with his, passion and obsession with vaccines for, men, women, children. There's been a lot of exposés saying that those vaccines have an element that causes, sterilization, and it's in bid to do population control. Something that I found to be extremely dumbfounding and just ridiculous. Also, why is it that our borders are open to some of these things? If Kenya wasn't desperate for some of this, let's say, projects and these collaborations and bilateral whatevers, you wouldn't be victims of the West. So that just shows you that it's time for us to revisit. And that's why I can poignantly say, that's why Raila Odinga and the family ditched modern medicine for Indian Ayurveda, a holistic approach to, healing and wellness, spiritual, mental, and physical. And it's interesting as well to learn that, Cerelac, because if you're adding sugar to baby formula, then that means you're introducing diabetes to children. Baby formula should be as organic and as natural as it should be. But look, the Cerelac that you guys grew up on. Man, I didn't grow up on Cerelac. I was born in Nairobi. My childhood was really chaotic. I even didn't know who my mother was. Now I'm grown up, but I can say I didn't grow up on Cerelac. I just don't know. But 473,924, man, this is sick. We need to kick it out of this country as soon as yesterday. And that just shows you how desperate, people are. And that should also, it's a story of, you guys are desperate for jobs. They export you outside there to go, provide labor. And that's why enlisting is happening in a lot of this, war-torn countries. They lie to you, oh my gosh, I'm taking you to a place in the United States so you'll be able to earn, $10,000 a month. You arrive there and they're introducing you to dead bodies and you have to clean them up, So if our systems favored us, then we wouldn't be going through this kind of stupidity and desperation. This sucks. It really sucks. It literally tells a story of the kind of leaders that you guys should vote in office in 2027, because it's a repetitive, stupid cycle. So yeah, Kenyans, you should know better now. Just if you're going for those fast foods on the shelves, please try to read. I'm looking at chlordane and acephate as an element almost close to formaldehyde that's usually used in preserving dead bodies at the mortuary. Anyways.